Welcome to Rad G Crypto, a place on YouTube for people who like to find out some more information about crypto, and especially Bitcoin. My favorite crypto, it's Bitcoin, obviously. As you can see from this, we're going to talk about how many Bitcoins are gone forever. And today also we're going to talk about Bitcoin going into the mainstream, meaning being mentioned in very popular TV series, Billions. That's a very interesting thing. And then what's the overall debt in the US? This is a very interesting web page that I found. This is happening in real time. Also, what's the total hash rate? And how much time is left until this halving? This is the countdown page. It looks like there's 3 more days. Okay, let's start with the current price. Today is the May the 8th, and Bitcoin is currently at $9,974 US, which is for the day 4.25% up. And let's see performance in the last 7 days. 13%. So that's really, really interesting. And there's multiple reasons why this is happening. And we're going to go over that in just a minute. 1 month performance was 35% appreciation. And also, if you look at this is a fabulous chart on the Coin 360. If you look at the Ethereum, it's been 23% appreciation. And then Litecoin, it's been a few percentages up. But what we're most interested in right now is Bitcoin because of the looming halving event. So what is a block halving event? And this is, I'm sure you've heard about it so far if you're following even remotely stuff around cryptocurrencies. But basically, it's after 210,000 blocks that are mined. And this is only approximately every 4 years. Block reward halves and will keep on halving until the block reward per block becomes 0, approximately by year 2140. This is a pretty huge time span, and we're obviously at the very, very beginning of this happening. It's been only 2 halvings so far. And we have an interesting piece of code here. So what is this? This is a C++ code from Bitcoin source, and if you look at the line 1240 here, it says at a certain height of the subsidy halving interval, at certain height of block, and the halvings are going to be, if they're going to be more or equal to 64, the return is going to be 0. So after 64 halvings, basically, a return, which is Bitcoin that has been mined, is 0. In the meantime, every subsidy is cut in half every 210,000 blocks, which occurs approximately, and this is now the calculation for that. This is the real magic happens at line 1247. I'm not a programmer myself. I came across this on the internet somewhere. It's really cool to just to see that, because this is what basically in the source code of Bitcoin blockchain is managing the halving. Okay, back to the countdown. As you can see, the ETA is today on the May 12th, so in 3 days, in 7 hours. This halving seems to be coming sooner and sooner, because when I looked at it last year, it was more like May 22nd. So why would this happen? Because the block halving is not happening according to the dates of the calendar. It's happening according to the mined blocks. And what we have here is also a very telling graph, total hash rate. Right now, in terahashes is approaching 120 million terahashes. This is like a transcendental number, and it's been going higher ever since. You know, if you look at the July of 2019, it was less than half of that. This might tell you something also, how much processing power is being thrown into mining Bitcoin, especially now before halving. And that's one of the reasons why halving is going to be coming a little bit sooner. So this number here might not be even correct. It might be even 2 days and 19 hours in the next little while. Another interesting tidbit of information is also, which brings us to this perfect storm for the case of Bitcoin breaking up significantly in next week or so, is who else is accepting Bitcoin. Right now there's 14,454. Actually, this is from a few days ago. Let me see the the actual number of venues that are accepting Bitcoin right now in the world. This is from today, refreshed recently, and it's 19,335. So this is very telling, right? A year ago, it was more like 15,000 venues. So the number of venues that are accepting Bitcoin is constantly increasing. Another thing that brings us up to this perfect crypto storm that's going to bring the Bitcoin to unknown heights very soon, in my opinion, is this interesting website that gives in real time the actual debt of the US and some other interesting numbers here, like what's the US national debt? The national public debt outstanding represents the face amount of principal amount of marketable and non-marketable securities currently outstanding. So this is like 25 trillion at least. So what's the US total debt? Includes household, business, state and local governments, financial institutions, and the federal government. So this is like 77 trillion here. And look at these numbers, how quickly they're climbing. So overall, if you look total debt to GDP, which is gross domestic product ratio, it's 132.56%. This is insane. This is unsustainable. If you look at the US federal debt to GDP ratio from a couple of years ago, from 10 years ago and 50 years ago, it was in 1960, it was 52%, 53. In 1980, it was 34.5. In 2000s, it was 58% of the GDP. Right now, it's 117. So this number is only US federal debt, and this one, it's total debt. So when you take this into consideration and the amount of quantitative easing and trillions that a federal government is putting into economy, printing from who knows where, from air, this is just strengthening the Bitcoin case. And not to mention that in mass media right now, one of the most popular shows, Billions, sorry, had mentioned Bitcoin actually, and that was just last Sunday night. On last Sunday night, Supersite finance drama Billions had its season 5 premiere on Showtime. It was much anticipated release, making it all the more surprising when the words Bitcoin escaped the lips of an actor Paul Giamatti. So let's take a look, quick clip, if it's gonna play. Maybe not. Anyway, So he was asking the question, so your multitude of computers and services solve some abstract math equations resulting in the mining of what? Bitcoin, worth millions right now, backed by what? And he was asking a couple of miners, like many Bitcoiners, responding by noting how the US dollar is also not backed by, again, by the government. This mention of Bitcoin in billions is far from the first time in the orange coin has graced the televisions of the Western world. That's right. There's one really interesting series that's called Altered Carbon. This is the show about a futuristic society where death becomes irrelevant as human bodies become interchangeable. And in one of the episodes, the logos of Bitcoin, Litecoin, Ethereum, Monero, and Zcash appeared in the shop, as can be seen below. Interesting. So, once again, my 2 cents. This could be huge. This event, halving event, could be huge for Bitcoin. All I can say is try to get some, at least a sliver of it, 1/10, 0.10, 0.5, whatever you can get from Bitcoin. This is the best you can do for yourself. Your future self is going to thank you. Thank you for watching, and talk to you soon again. Bye now.